So by the time that you guys are seeing this video, episode 7 of Call of the Arbiter would have just come towards an end, and it was the introduction of a new Dwarven champion going by the name of Gnut. Well, I hope that's how they actually pronounced it throughout the episode, but you guys let me know, was it a cool episode, how did you find it, and would you be excited to obtain this champion if given the chance to do so? Well, I'm actually here to tell you he's going to be the new Fusion champion starting on Monday, July 3rd. So just around the corner. And of course, he's a Dwarf champion, spirit based, he's based on defense as well, and aesthetic wise looks really cool. I'm a big fan of it. But I'm going to be breaking down the fundamentals of his skill set and the ways that I feel he should be utilized to get the best value out of him. And also if he's great for early game, mid game, or end game players, or just conclusive of all of those. But he will be a traditional style fusion, which is usually the res that you get. You take them up to 40. You turn them into the epics, which you take to a 5-star, once ascended as well. And then finally into the legendary, of course. And boom, you'll be able to get your Gnut. Which I'm not usually a fan of those fusions. I gotta admit, I'm a big fan of those fragment styles. A bit more of a lazy style of fusions. But I probably would be going for this one, as I've skipped out on the previous two. And I feel like this one is a not pass, in my opinion, especially if you want to do any kind of hard mode Fire Knight. So let's just go into the fundamentals of his skill set. So starting with the Dwarven Might on the A1, he attacks one enemy 3 times, which is great in itself, with each hit having a 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Now, if we swiftly turn off this picture so you guys can see with me the value that Arbiter provides, because she's one that I like to use, especially when I was progressing in the Fire Knight, and I still use to this day for stage 25. She has attacks one enemy 3 times at random, decreases the target's turn meter by 25%, so you're getting more value out of her turn meter reduction for the normal Fire Knight, but she's under that condition of critical hits, right? But with Gnut, there's no conditions, it's just going to be able to place these, granted you've got the accuracy thresholds. But what I'm really interested in as well for endgame is if the target's turn meter is not decreased, each hit has a 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the target for 1 turn instead. So he's basically the Giga Charge of the Lore for the hard mode of the Fire Knight, because this will now be the most consistent way of placing freeze to mitigate the boss's turn meter, which I cannot skip on. Like, I have tried to do this with Creating the Blues, and Yakar is a very good option as well. But I just don't think anybody sits on the same caliber of Gnut for what he's going to be using the freeze for. And yeah, if I always said I would love to have a fusion that's basically a lore for the hard mode, and here he is, but in the form of a dwarf, I guess. So really strong A1 here. But when we lead into Fury of the King, he attacks all enemies. Pretty good. Has a 100% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack and a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So whether you want to use this for the Demon Lord clan boss to mitigate damage and place weaken, or the Hydra boss, right, mitigating the damage once again, getting those weakens out, or simply just for wave-based content to do the same kind of things, he's going to have that universal value for a vast majority of players, and actually holds a lot of value here. But also comes into fruition with the placing the counterattack on this champion for 2 turns to maybe play the role of a mischief tank, but coincides with the rest of his kit here. Because on the Blessed Bash on a 5-turn cooldown, bookable down to a 3-turn, he attacks one enemy 3 times once again, with each hit decreasing the target's defense by 3% and stacks up to 30%. Each hit will also heal this champion by 30% of the damage dealt. And it also says here from Raid's backlog that he will come in handy for Hydra with his A3 skill, as his damage scales off defense and the target's HP. So being able to optimize that, you're going to see the best return in forms of damage. But this is a lot of defense to be mitigating, guys. Like, I'll be really excited to try this out in both the Hydra or the Demon Lord clan boss, or maybe simply the Fire Knight to get him down more efficiently to pair with that A1. So I'm really liking the synergy here. I'm just not sure about the cooldowns on this. Do you think that it should have been a 3-turn? 4-turn could still have some value, maybe not to make it super busted, but it's relatively good. Maybe some Relentless Gear or Reflex could be stuff to consider. Or, I don't know, we'd have to get our hands on this champion, but make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you want to see a showcase on him, in case Raid maybe gives us a test server access to try this champion out, which fingers crossed we do. It would be really nice to try out this dude before he goes into the game. With no holding back with the passive, when counterattacking will deal 100% damage instead of 75%, which is actually very beneficial to coincide with that A2, which places the counterattack on himself to get the full value out of this. Just basically further adding to his damage capabilities. On his aura, he's got an accuracy in dungeons by 80, which I understand because of the Fire Knight, kind of alleviating some of those stats so you can focus on other things for your champions. But maybe like a 60 in all battles, maybe for Hydra boss you can bring it in, or whatever that may be. Might have had a bit of better value, but I'm not completely against this because I understand the direction that this champion was supposed to be taking with the Fire Knight. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on him. Is this somebody you're going to be considering? Do you have enough shards to do it? Because they've completely ramped up these events, right? With these 10x events, 2x's, you name it. They've tried to take off everything. And then they're going to put this champion in the game. And, you know, make sure you guys go and buy this shards so you don't miss out on Gnut sort of thing. But I've definitely got some shards. We do have the 2x event tomorrow, so I might have to hold off on a few, maybe for a champion chase event. I've been able to save up all of these without actually buying any, apart from my monthly, so take 8 out of that. So I was actually really excited for a 2x, and he's got a Theodore in there as well, right? So for anybody summoning tomorrow, there's a 10x Theodore with the 2x Ancients, which is really hard to pass up on, as he's a very strong burn detonator that I can pair in my attack. So I'd be excited to try and get him for Spider 10 and stuff. But I might just go through 100 and maybe keep 40. Something like that. Or will my Sacred Shards be enough? Hopefully. The Clan Boss got to be good to me. But make sure you guys are staying on top of that. Stay on top of your Doom Tower rotations. And maybe just hold off on some of those resources you might have been planning to use beforehand. So you've got enough to be able to get this fusion done. And of course, what's happening here? Forge Pass has been updated. Please relog in. But yeah, guys. I guess on that note, Ray doesn't want me to carry on. If you guys did enjoy today's video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Have an amazing weekend. I will be preparing some videos for you guys, as I've got nub raids coming down tomorrow. I'm going to be picking them up from the airport. And then we're all going down to London to meet up with Deadwood Jedi, the Hell Hades team, Scratch, maybe Cold Brew. It's going to be a big creator meetup, and I can't wait to go. And so we'll be away over the next couple days. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a video soon. Peace.